Today's video is mostly going to be on the topic of why I wake up, the reason why I choose to keep on pushing and keep on going against the walls, struggles, and pressures, the reason why I do what I do. Basically, my why. This came, this actually came from a couple weeks ago. I was on a phone call, I was on a text thread with my friend, and she was looking for a reason to continue. Not saying that she was suicidal, but her life is kind of difficult as it is. Context: she's in school, so school was going at her, going at her. So she was trying to find a reason to continue with bettering yourself, basically, or a reason to continue doing what's good for you through other people, and that other people happen to just be me. So she said, "Ew, why do you wake up? Why do you work? Why do you do what you do? Basically, what is your why?" And I'm grateful for that conversation because it threw me into a mental spiral, and I got to find out more about myself. Basically, I got my why, as I'd like to believe. I got my why from that conversation. I'm very grateful to her for allowing me to have that whole moment. Sorry. And so in the beginning, I gave her my typical PR generalized why. My why being, I want to live a life of isolation where I alone determine what I think, I alone determine what I like, I alone determine what I want to believe in, I alone determine what I eat, I alone determine what I um will indulge in. Basically, life, I call it life premium. You see how you get like YouTube premium where you don't get specified ads? I call that like life premium where I cater my own ads to myself, and my own ads have me like no influence from any other human being or any other opinion from past or present. This is everything that I want to be influenced by my own thoughts, by my own life experience going forward without having to learn from anyone else. Ideally, because I feel like the life that I've lived right now, it's a life of compounded intelligence where I alone have not actually created anything with what I do know. What I do know is not my own knowledge. It's knowledge based on other people's experiences that have been compounded over. So I've just been reading, and I have not been able to create anything brand new that says this is revolutionary and it's actually changed lives. Nothing like that. I'm not smarter than anyone that came about 100 years ago. I just happened to be born at the right time where all these people's knowledge just happened to be compressed at one time, and I'm able to indulge in all of these knowledges, whether it's books, media, whatever you take. So I myself wouldn't consider myself smart because I'm just, you would say a library. You wouldn't say a library is smart because it all has all the books. But then yeah, back to the conversation. So the that was the why I gave her. The fact that I want to live a life of self-sufficientness in all aspects of my life, in complete isolation from all human interaction or human influence, either on an island or on an isolated farm. Either one works for me. Um, a bit more digging went into it, and I found out that my why, my actual why, was for me to, is actually for me, is that I live to cater to the people around me. I live to make their life easier. I live to, so that they can eat the benefits of my hard labor. They can bear the fruits. They can eat the fruits of my labor. I bear to see them happy. Bear to show appreciation to every single human being that's had the 2 cents into my life, whether regardless of how important our relationship was or how significant it was, no matter how much time we spent together, no matter the specifics of what a relationship was. Was it romantic? Was it a friendship? Was it family? Was it passing by a stranger? I basically live to show appreciation to everyone. That's just me. It's not on people pleasing. I do not believe in people pleasing. I do not believe in sucking up to people. I believe in honest truth and honest catering where I do not say no. If I don't want to do something, I won't. But I'm just saying that I'm so grateful to these people that I want to give back to them, even though I know I don't have to, even though I know it's not a must, that, this is my life, I can live my own life. I just have this overwhelming or over, what's the word? I'm compelled to give back to them, regardless. Like, even if I only had like 10 seconds to talk to you and, you made me feel happy, you had an influence. I live to show appreciation to all you people. And I've had talks with a lot of people around me and then telling them this, and they're like, no, you don't owe us anything. But I know I don't owe you this, but I feel like I want to. And another reason that came back with this, I want to do this also so I can buy my life back. I feel indebted to all these people. So you could say my life starts once I've paid them off. When I have no human or social obligation to be around them. Does it sound transactional? Does it sound like I only work in transactional relationships? It kind of does, but that's not how I actually carry relationships. But then I just feel like once I've made sure that everyone is good, I can carry on in my own life where it's just me. Once I've paid my debts, my social debts, I can give back because what I owe them is not money. What I owe them is not food or anything. I owe them the time. I've been warned on my relationship with time and how I view time as almost destructible, almost very sociopathic. I appreciate time so that because time equals life. And someone that chooses, like, makes a decision to be like, I wanna spend time with this person, don't take that lightly because they're saying I want to spend X amount of my life with this person. Life don't ever get back. Life that once it's spent, it will gone. So I look at, like, if someone decided to give you their life, whether warranted or unwarranted, whether you needed it, whether you called for it, whether you didn't want it, for the fact someone decided to, I want to positively be involved with this human being, whether they want to or not. They just decided that I want to give my life to this person. That's how I look at it. So I owe people their life back, and I want to give that back to them. And I know that there is no equivalent to giving back life. So my life's journey is to basically make the remainder of their life easier. You could say that, yeah. Is to make the remainder of their lives easier. And that whole, it was very revolutionary to me. Another word, I don't know, but it spoke a lot to me, that whole conversation. I'm very grateful for um her allowing me to have that conversation. um I know no one watches these videos, so I'm just gonna shout you out. Mokgadi, thank you for allowing me to have that conversation. And you have no idea how much I actually appreciate you and how much I actually, value your input into my life and what you've allowed me to become do our hours of talks whenever we taking walks in Mokgadi. Thank you very much for allowing me to do that. But then yeah, that was a couple of weeks ago. And then fast forward to right around this week last week. I posted on my WhatsApp status something. I had the epiphany that I am not the most reliable person for myself ever. I've broken so many promises that I've made to myself. I've hurt myself more than I have hurt other people. I have been my worst enemy when it comes to things that come to bettering my life. Basically saying I'm basically my own worst enemy. I've sabotaged my life more than some people would actually think. And I find no good reason to actually improve it for myself. Basically, my own life is not a good reason for me to better it for myself. I don't know if that makes sense. I am not a good reason to better my own future for myself. My life is not a good reason for me to better. It's it's been tried and tested. My words speak a completely different tone from what my actions are going to be. I've tried reading, or no, I've tried the typical do this to improve your life things. I've I've shown less commitment to those things that then the things that are very destructive to my life, very destructive habits to my life, such as like working out or like eating healthy or, knowledge or all the other things. I've broken financial woes to myself. Like I have betrayed myself more times than I have other people. I've shown up more times than I have for other people. And with my actions as they are, even though it hurts to say, as much as I would like to be like, no, I'm a guy, I'm trying, I'm just trying to be motivated. I'm honest enough to say that my actions say that I am content with the way my life is right now. I'm very happy with the way my life is right now. Whether I'm fading, whether I'm unemployed, whether I'm not where I want to be. My mind is saying no, but my body is saying yes. If you didn't catch that, that was an R. Kelly reference. I'm probably gonna bleep that out. It's something I said in the insecurities videos. That was if your insecurities are if there is a solution for your insecurities and you're not working 100% to work on that solution, then that means that your insecurity is not as bad as you think it is and you are actually okay with living with it. That's how I am to the destructive habits that are destroying my life, basically. Now, you might be asking yourself, if that's the case, then why do you continue? Honestly speaking, if I had no one in my life, if I had no social obligations to the social obligations that I've placed on myself, if I had no one around me to try and push me or anything, I'd be perfectly content with sitting at a corner getting a cunt for the rest of my life and not working or giving a damn to try and improve myself. I'd be perfectly content with it if I had no one around me. And blessed I am, thank you to the Lord, I have people around me. So the people around me are the reason why I do what I do. I don't better my life for myself. I said before that I only better my life so the people around me can eat the fruits, and I only work on myself so that other people can benefit. Example, for the role of a father that I want to go to, my children and my family are gonna need someone strong, someone mentally sound, someone with leader type characteristics, someone loving, someone who is reliable, basically. If my family that I want are gonna need that, then I will work on that on myself for them, not for me. I don't I don't see. Okay, let me reference it like this. Through trial and errors, my actions have displayed that I have no need for me to be responsible, reliable, and all these other good things. But I know someone in future will need me to be this person, so I'm willing to put in the shadow work for me to be able to be that person. My partner in future is going to need someone trustworthy, someone who's always going to be there to comfort and protect and all these other good, someone who's able to communicate and understand and comprehend what she's going through or what she needs. Then I'm willing to put in the shadow work in the back for me to become that person for her, not for me. Through trial and error, my actions have proved that I do not need to be someone that's trustworthy, dependable, that's able to comprehend. That's not for me. I don't need that through trial and error, through my actions. Again, I want to emphasize that my actions are saying that I don't need to be this person, but I need to be this person for this person. So I will be that for this person. Another example, I become a boss, I become a CEO. For the employees I will have in future, they will need a strong boss, a strong leader, a strong mind, very unbiased, very goal driven, and with strong leadership qualities. I will need to do the work to fill up the criteria so that I can be the best boss I can for them. Do you understand what I mean now? Through trial and error, my actions have proved that I do not need to be a boss type architecture for me because I do not need it. Like I said, if I don't have anyone around me, I'll be perfectly content. My actions will be perfectly content with me staying at a corner and doing nothing all day and dying at the age of 65, chowing grant very nicely, eating off the back of the hardworking citizens that choose to actually break their bones and want something to do with their lives. My actions say I'd be content with that. Does it say I want to be content with that? No, it doesn't. But I know what's good for me and I still choose not to. I've sabotaged, painfully sabotaged myself so many times. It's not even funny. Of academically, I never worked. I was content with being the guy that went. Literally, I was the guy that went to prize giving just to get the LO certificate. Just because I got a distinction LO. I was content with going to prize giving for that when my seniors or my peers or my intellectual seniors, they were getting distinctions, they were getting medals, they were stocking up whatever they could get. I was just like, yo, I got my distinction LO and I'm good. I never saw the purpose for competition or anything like that. Nor do I never believed in it. I believe that everyone had their own race and everyone what you do in your race does not affect what I do. And that was what I that's what I believed for a very long time. But then in the special case that is me, are you trying to get better? What are you okay? If you believe that there is no competition and you are in your own race and you're just trying to get better, the only competition you have is the person that you are yesterday. The person who you were yesterday is nothing. The person who you are today is nothing. The person who you are tomorrow is nothing. So what are you really competing with? You're basically multiplying by zero multiple times and you're still going to get the same results. It's I'm very happy that I came to that conclusion. Like I said, I'm very honest with myself that I don't like lying to myself. I'm my own best friend and I treat myself like a friend. I don't treat myself as a mother would to a child. I look at myself like a dog with a flop. And the friend, being me, was honest enough to be like, hey dog, you are a shit person who really doesn't like himself to the point that you actually think that you like yourself. And I'm thankful to myself that I have that mentality to be like, hey bro, you don't live in delusion. You live in honesty, and this is the life you're trying to live. For the fact that I was able to be honest with myself and say that you don't have motivation, you don't have discipline, but you do have one thing driving you, and that is the people around me, and that you are not a good reason for yourself to better yourself. And that's okay. I feel like I'd rather have other people as my motivation than have no motivation. Because through my efforts, through my efforts of trying to become all these things for all these other people, I will reap the crumbs, and the crumbs will eventually actually be what I want for myself. Case in point, my family's gonna need someone strong, healthy, strong minded. If I wanna be a healthy person, so I'm gonna be benefiting from doing that road work by becoming a healthier person myself. So that's how I'm gonna benefit. Even though I'm working for them, that crumb I get of, hey dog, I'm training to be a strong dad for these people, I'll end up becoming a strong human being myself. Not for me, but for them. But then a side effect is I end up becoming wham. I end up becoming um being the best boss, being a competent boss, being everything. The side effect of being a good boss, chankura, money. You know, I didn't become a good boss for me. I did it because I have people depending on me. For them, they need a good boss. I don't need a good boss. But then the side effect of being a good boss is what? Money. Um, the side effect of becoming a good partner is all the benefits you get in a relationship. I wouldn't know. I haven't been in a relationship in a year, 1 year, 1 month, and some change, and almost 2 weeks, somewhere there. I haven't been in a relationship in that long. So I wouldn't know. Yeah. So I benefit from the crumbs of the labor that I will put into the shadow work for the people I want to, and I'm content with that. I have no qualms with that. I at least I know I don't live in the falsitude of motivation for myself, and you have to wake up because this and that for you, for you, for you, for you. I don't lie to myself on a daily basis. And I'm glad that I don't, because it's brought so much peace onto me that I'm able to live life freely because I now have an open plan on why I do things. You see the emphasis on why. Um, yeah, there isn't much I can dive into more. This is a concept that a lot of people go years, decades, maybe even their whole lives without ever finding out the why they live. Um, and I'm glad that I managed to find it at the age of 20, or at least what I believe to be my why at the age of 20. Um, I do believe that this is a why that I'll carry on for the rest of my life. And even though I am susceptible to change, I am a human being. I am prone to change whenever things happen, but it's whenever it does, I'm open arms to thinking. Because at the bare minimum, like bare to minimum, all I want in life, all my actions through trial and error, my actions have shown that all I really want in life is a relationship with God. Through trial and error, my actions have shown that I just want to get to a place where I'm with God and I'm in heaven, and I'm willing to move heaven and hell to get to a point where I'm with God. That's the only thing that's been consistent with my life until now, where I'm constantly trying to pursue a relationship with God. So, through trial and error, my actions have shown me that I'm content with living a life on the corner, getting a cunt until the age of death, as long as I keep a relationship, a very strong relationship with God. That's literally it. That's all I really want in life. I don't want anything else. No, there's nothing that the world can offer me that my actions say that I gravitate to that. The only thing I am willing to do without thinking, breathing, whatever, is deepen or try my best to deepen my relationship with God. And I know it's not perfect right now. I haven't read my Bible as I should. I haven't prayed as much as I should. I do fall into sin many or so times. I think I've mentioned it. I fall into sin, and I fall into lust, and what's the other one? For laziness, sloth a lot. And I have shared my fair share of lies here and there, and they are very destructive. But through my efforts, I do believe that I will get to a point where I will get to see and be with the Lord. And this is not saying that Gimignile, Gimignile, I'm crossing both fingers, all my toes, Gishaile Tsipa, and squeezing my bum and saying that if I don't make it into heaven, wherever God is, I just want to be with. If they say if God just so happens to be in the fire, I just want to be next to God, because a life without God has been the worst thing ever. And I don't want to experience anything outside of the warmth and love that I have felt with Him. I know nothing. I don't want to know anything else but the warmness of the Lord. And I appreciate everything He has done for me. And if He keeps me alive long enough to be able to fill my heart's desires by paying my tithe to everyone that I know, or everyone that I will know, or even that I'll never know, I'm I can only devote my life to someone that grants me that wish of being able to fill up my heart's content, of one day being like, I did it. And yeah, thank you for watching. This has been Thoughts with Ollie. This is Ollie, and see you in the next one.